Hi, everyone. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at how to draw monsters. My name is David Zobel, part of D Zobel Illustration, and we're going to take a look at what we can do as far as drawing monsters, some simple ways that we can achieve that monster look with not knowing too much really about drawing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here, and here we go. So the first thing we're looking at a monster can be really whatever shape you want it to be. But in this case, I'm going to start off with one of my favorite shapes, right? So first of all, I'm going to start off just kind of sketching. So I'm just going to kind of go in here. And I like this kind of, I don't know, it's kind of an oval, but it has a flat bottom here. That's where we're going to put in kind of feet and that kind of stuff, right? So that's what we're going to kind of be working with here. So the first thing is we get our shape. Now, your shape could be anything. For example, let's do a new layer here. Your shape could be a circle, or it could be a square, or it could be a triangle, right? So it's really up to you as far as how you draw that shape. So let's go back to our original shape here. Now, I am just sketching, so we're going to draw that lightly, and then we're going to kind of then go kind of more detailed in. First thing when we're doing this is think about how many hands do you want? Do I want 2? Do I want 3? Do I want 4? How many eyes do I want? 7, 8, 1? Stuff like that. So that's kind of like the first thing is kind of setting that out. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to do 2 hands. I'm going to do 1 eye, and that's where we're going to kind of start. So again, just another circle here. I'm going to kind of draw where my hands are going to be with this line that's here. So I know my hands are kind of starting in the same spot. Right? So we're just going to draw these 2 little lines for hands. I think a lot of times what people do when they first draw, they want to try to draw hands like this. Well, hands have, 2 components. They have the outside and the inside. So that's why I draw these 2 lines. I'm not going to necessarily draw the hands yet. I am going to draw where the legs meet. Now, I like to draw my legs a little bit chunky, a little bit thick. Like I call them smushy. I just think that's more interesting to me. And then the mouth, right? So the mouth, let's just show you a little bit. Your mouth can be so many different things, right? We can just have a smiley face. We could add that for the idea of, like the idea of cheekbones and stuff like that. We could draw an open mouth. We could do a really open mouth. Right, so there's lots of different ways that we're going to do it. For me, the most important part, and I think what makes it really funny, is the teeth. So in all of these examples, right, we're going to draw some teeth like this. Let's make some really big here. And in this case, I'm going to draw those like almost like teeth with a tongue kind of in the back. And then what I would do is, I'm not going to take the time to fill this, but I would fill this all in here like that. So going back to our monster here, I am going to draw, let's just draw real simple to start, right? And I'm going to do some big teeth like that. Now, with the eyes, I'm going to draw, right? We can just draw another dot like that in the middle. And feet. Feet, I really like to play around with as far as, I like the idea of some elephant feet. So if we take a look at another example here, what can we draw? So a lot of times my feet end up like this, right? So they look like elephant feet. Now, I will get into drawing my feet like that, right? So the idea that this adds some, what I call kind of mushiness into the feet. So going back, I'm just going to draw 2 little lines for like the toenails. Now let's see, I might want some horns kind of coming out of here, because what's a monster without some horns? Or you could do ears. Let's do some horns and maybe some little alien antenna there. That's kind of fun. And hands, just like everything else we've been looking at, hands are tricky. What I like to do with hands is your thumbs always point inwards, right? So my thumbs always point in towards my body. So if this is the body and I draw a hand, my thumb is always here and here, right? So my thumb goes inwards. So I like to think about hands as mittens, right? So if this is one side and this is another side, if I use that as my base, I can now draw over top of this and say, all right, here's my thumb. Here's 1, here's 2, here's 3. And maybe that's where I want to do, or maybe there's a 4th one that goes like this. Do you see how they're like mittens? And if I just follow that shape, I can draw my hands out better, right? Maybe there's, maybe there's some nails that are there. Maybe there's just some knuckles that are there. Maybe you have claws, but you can see, you can kind of detail it out real easily. Okay, so let's go back to our monster here. Now I'm just going to quickly kind of do in some hands like that. And there we go. So that's like the initial sketch of this. Now what I'd like to do is we're going to create a new layer atop of that. I am going to switch my brush here just for drawing purposes. And now we're going to go over top of this. So this would be the idea of if you're drawing on paper, right? Draw the pencil lines, get those things kind of set up first. You may kind of decide something else as you're going along. Now I'm going to draw kind of the hands first. Right, so now I'm just kind of following basically what I've set up. And we're going to draw the rest of the body here. I'm going to draw again some kind of mushy legs that are here. And I'm going to give these horns, right? So this is just something that I like to do. I like to give them, again, this kind of like form of the body that they're taking up as if they're in this space here. I think it's more interesting. Connect these in, and let's get some hair going. Can't forget our antennas, right? So drawing those antennas out. Now I'm going to draw the mouth. And you know what? I think I've changed my mind here. I'm actually going to change the mouth and do something like this. Right? And I'm actually going to have the teeth kind of, let's just zoom in here so we can really see what we're doing. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Now I'm just going to fill this in. So now I'm working digitally, so I have a little bit more advantage. I can kind of undo what I'm doing here. Okay, so then the eye, we're going to draw this circle shape. So again, I'm drawing on a computer program that allows me to kind of draw this eye, and I can actually draw a circle better on paper than I can digitally. That's here. And I'm going to draw the eye. Now I am going to draw some circles in the middle here. That's to allude to the idea of like a shine going on. Right? So now let's kind of take a look at where we are. I need to draw my toenails for my feet. And there we go. That's the base for the monster. So there we go. Really simple shapes, detailed out to do this. Now, I'm going to add some details in, and you are welcome to add that into your monster as well. I like to add in, just to give some depth here, we're going to add some lines here for where like your creases are. Right? Maybe there's some in the hands. I just do a kind of a couple there. Again, where these folds are. It just starts to give this some more depth and dimension. We're going to draw a couple little lines coming from there. Maybe a couple here. Let's draw a little shine to the eye. Actually, I didn't like that, but let's give maybe a lid to the eye. And we'll draw some lines there as well. Right? And then we could go in and color them if we wanted to or do whatever. But that's like the basis of drawing the monster, right? Is being able to, and we just sign it, always sign it. In the end. And that's the way we kind of detail that out. And we could do this in a variety of different ways. For example, if I wanted to change the eye, make it 2 eyes. It's really simple to do within this structure. So the next video I will do will kind of detail out maybe a different shape, a different monster, give it a little bit different features, maybe change the arm positions. So that's kind of how I draw a monster. I would love to see what monsters you draw. What do you add to it? Do you add horns? Do you add ears? Do you do other things? And I'll start doing more of these to give you maybe some more ideas where you can kind of make your own monster. So I hope you had fun drawing monsters, and I hope to see your examples.